What is up, you awesome human beings? It's James Cant here. And this is for you if you're a business owner and you feel like you're stuck in a rut. No matter what you do, you're always chasing your tail. Your business is turning over a good amount of money, but somehow the profit isn't there for you. Or you feel like you're missing out on contracts which you should be getting. Your business isn't growing the way that it should. You can't hold on to employees the way that you'd like to. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can go from feeling stuck in this rut to being able to rapidly grow and expand your business very, very easily and effortlessly without having to take on any crazy risk or work a hideous amount of hours. I mean, when most people come to us, they've tried a lot of stuff in order to get their business out of the rut and get themselves personally out of the rut. I mean, one of the main things that we do whenever we feel like we're in a rut is we switch to drinking, we switch to drugs, anything which is going to take our mind off and allow us to de-stress. And it's a nice idea to be able to escape and to distance ourselves from the week and from all the bullshit of business. But what ends up happening is that whenever we start drinking more, we start taking drugs, we start going out and binge eating on food, other areas of our life start to suffer, like our energy starts going down, our sleep starts going down, our recovery starts going down, our brain function starts going down. So yeah, cool, we might be de-stressed for a day or 2 days, but then in the long run, we end up worse off, much, much worse off, because we have less energy. We're not as effective at work. We're not present with our kids. Mrs., she tends to not enjoy it when you go out and get hammered, right? And so your relationship starts suffering. And then from there, it's like this big spitball where everything gets worse. Because she's stressed with you, you start getting more stressed at home. So now you're stressed at business and at home. And then on top of that too, because you're stressed, you now get angry more easily. So you start more fights. You yell at your kids. You just blow your fuse and lose your mind every now and then. And it feels like it's kind of out of your control and you don't really know what to do. Like literally, where do you start? You have so many fires to put out. Which one do you choose to focus on first? And it's really, really difficult. We worked with a load of guys who have been in similar positions to you. James, not me, another James who we coached, he came to us and he ran a very, very successful business, making a couple of $1 million a year. But he found that he was always squeezed on profits, always cash flow was tight. And he was always in a situation where if he felt like he took one step forwards, he'd take one step back. He'd hire a new fantastic staff member and then they'd leave. He would go and get a new contract, but then there'd be more issues associated with that. He'd start working more to make more money to alleviate some stresses and financial pressures at home. And then all of a sudden he's working, 60, 70, 80, 100 hours a week just to get by. And then he starts getting stressed at home. And it's on this constant merry-go-round that we seem to get stuck on as business owners. And we try a lot of things in order to get our business working much better. We start doing massive hours so that we can win more contracts, so we can deliver on more work, so that we can bring more money into the business. But that's not sustainable because if we're working 60, 70, 80, 100 hours a week, what type of life does that give us? How are we meant to maintain an amazing relationship with our partner, our wife? How are we meant to be an amazing dad to our kids? Well, it's just not feasible. It's simply not going to work. A lot of the time I see other guys trying to bring on, employees so that they can, step out and move out of the business. And we often see this when a business isn't doing well or a business owner feels like they're just stuck in this rut. When we try and bring on a new employee, it very rarely gets us out. The reason being is because we are the reason why the business isn't doing well. A business can never outgrow you. And I want you to remember that. It's a really, really important thing. If your business is not doing well or you're stuck in this rut with your business, it's a byproduct of you and your growth. You see, us as business owners, we're the leaders of the business. A business can only ever be as successful as its leader and as successful as its cap. And so what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to show you how you can uncap your potential so that your business can grow, so that you can get out of this rut, so that you can have the money that you want, so that you can live the lifestyle that you want, spend more time with your wife, your partner, spend more time with your kids, and actually be able to enjoy life again instead of always feeling super stressed out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shift over onto the iPad and I'm just going to run you through a couple of things. The number one thing that happens whenever a business owner or a business goes into a rut is we have a reduction in energy. This is the first thing. We start feeling lethargic. We start feeling tired. We stop sleeping as well. Stress starts creeping up. Whenever we have a reduction in energy, we start making worse mistakes. We start stuffing up things that we didn't used to. And one of the biggest things that this creates, and not a lot of people think about it, is we have a reduction in charisma and we have a reduction in confidence. And you might be able to relate to this. What I'm talking about with charisma and confidence, I'm talking about how we relate to other people around us. Whenever we're not feeling our best, whenever we're not feeling confident within ourselves, our relations with clients, our relations with our employees start going down. We start getting angry. We start blowing fuses at them, and we start losing a whole heap of clients, a whole heap of employees. For example, Alan runs a very, very successful roofing business. And when he came to us and started working with us, he had this constant issue with employees all the time, just churning. He said, I can't find good staff. And the real reason why he couldn't find or couldn't keep good staff, guys who were willing to work hard for him and wanted to stay around for him, was because of the way that he treated them. They didn't respect him. He didn't respect them. He got angry with them. They got angry at him. And it was this relationship which just wasn't healthy at all. And you see this all the time in businesses. You see this in large businesses, small businesses, the whole way through. If you don't have good energy, if you don't have good charisma, you don't have good confidence, you're not going to be able to lead a team well. And if you're not able to lead a team well, then you're not going to be able to deliver on your services or scale, or make good money. It's never, ever going to happen. All right. The next thing after this that we see all the time is anxiety and stress. Now, whenever we start getting anxious, whenever we start getting stressed, it immediately feeds into this. We get a reduction in charisma, we get a reduction in confidence. But the big one that also happens is that we come from a place of scarcity and we start making decisions out of a place of scarcity. So what do I mean by a place of scarcity? By a place of scarcity, what I'm referring to is when we make decisions which we feel are best in our short-term interests, but we totally forget the long-term. So one of the examples will be not paying our staff enough or paying less because we're worried about bills that are got to pay, or reducing our advertising, reducing our sales spend because we're worried about cash flow, or not going and going, actually even better is going and taking on deals which aren't in our best long-term interest, working with shitty clients, working with guys who we know have trouble paying, all because we're thinking about trying to get this money in because we're operating from a place of scarcity. Whenever we're anxious, whenever we're stressed, we make poorer decisions which lead to poorer long-term outcomes. That's why often it feels like you're chasing your tail, because if you're constantly chasing your tail and you're constantly making decisions which are easy now but make it harder in the long term, everything gets much, much more difficult. And we've seen this time and time again. For example, Adam continually kept hiring his friends and people who were around him because it was easy to hire them. Now, unfortunately, the problem with the way that he was hiring is he was hiring people who were not good employees and were not the right fit for the job. And so while he solved his problem short term, he made an immediate problem a little bit lesser. In the long term, things got much, much more difficult. Or Jack kept on taking on clients who would pay him amazing money, but were shit house to work with and were not fun at all. And every single time he would go to deliver, there'd be a complaint or there'd be an issue with payment. There'd be always an issue constantly because he kept functioning from a place of anxiety and stress. And so what we do and how we help guys like you is we help get your energy back. We help get your anxiety and your stress down, and we allow you to be able to make more money, have a business which is growing well, do it in a way which is fun, reduce your stress levels, and on top of that too, have more time for your wife, for your partner, for your kids, and to do the things that you actually want to do in life. And the way that we do it is this, right? If we look at the root, and I'll switch back here. If we look here, I want to introduce you to a concept called the hierarchy of health. I'm just going to brush over this one quickly. If you want more information about this, just fill in the link below. You'll be able to click that link there and it'll take you to a page where you can fill in a form and we'll get you across this information. But we have differing levels of health within our body. If we have an unhealthy body or an unhealthy mind, we won't be successful. Now, what most people think of when they're looking about optimizing themselves and making themselves better for business is they start thinking of what we call like the icing on the cake. And what I'm talking about here is people think about going on diets to get more energy. They start doing exercise. They start taking supplements. And these things are all great, but they're small. They're not the big fish. They're not the things which are actually going to get us the biggest results. The major things which will really improve our energy, our vitality, get rid of our stress, and allow us to perform at a much, much higher level are these. Down the bottom is something that we call the nervous system. And this is like the brain and everything that flows from the brain. This controls our energy, it controls our stress response, it controls every single function within our body. And if we go up another level from there, we have our hormones. Our hormones like testosterone, cortisol, insulin, melatonin, these things regulate how we feel and how our body functions. And for those of you who've had low testosterone before, it doesn't feel terribly good because you start gaining fat, losing your muscle, losing confidence, losing your sex drive, and losing your belief within yourself. The next one is our digestive system. Our digestive system is where all of our energy, all of our nutrition comes into our body and enters. If our digestive system isn't working well, you're not going to have a fun time because you're always going to be bloated, tired, lethargic, anxious, not sleeping well, and so on and so forth. And this one little one up here is the immune system. If our immune system isn't functioning well, we're not going to have a terribly good time either because once again, we're always going to be tired. We're going to be getting sick. We're going to be feeling run down. We're going to get brain fog. We're just going to be feeling slower than what we should. And so the way that our program works is we fix each of these levels. We don't be just like every normal person. And the common thing is that we do is we just focus on the icing on the cake. And this is okay, but this is literally like less than 5% of the total results. This bit down here, this is 95% of your results. And so if you focus on the 95%, things get better really, really quickly. And that's how we've been able to get so many massive results. So if you want to learn more about what we do, how our program works, and how we can potentially help you, just click the link below. You can fill out a form. You can complete the information there, and we will get you a step-by-step game plan on exactly what you need to do to go from where you are right now, feeling like you're stuck in a rut, to a position where you are crushing life. You're making the money that you want to make. You're living the lifestyle you want to live. You're not feeling stressed, anxious, tired, lethargic. You're on your A game every single day. You're crushing life and you're having a whole lot of fun. So if that sounds interesting to you and you think this may potentially be able to help you, click the link below, fill out the application, and we'll be able to take you on from there and get you the help that you need. Hope this helps you out, guys. Click the link below, fill it out. I'll speak to you soon.
I hope you enjoyed the video. If you got something out of it and you want to learn more, click the link below or type in High Performance Conversations with James Cant and you'll be able to check out all the podcasts that we've done. We cover a stack of different topics, everything from getting your mojo back, overcoming anxiety, self-doubt, self-esteem, and learning from some of the industries and some of the world's top performers in both business and in health. Look forward to having you on there.